Hi. So I wanted to share a testimony about my vision of heaven that Jesus blessed me with about 13 or 14 years ago. Um, at the time, I was very sick. I had a stomach infection. Well, supposedly I was healed from my stomach infection, but I still had terrible symptoms. And I kept getting very sick. And I remember I was so sick, I was holding onto the walls just to walk. And I remember one day I went to lay down. I got very sick, and then I went to lay down in my bedroom. And as I laid down, I started drifting to sleep. But before I was asleep, my body popped. My spirit popped out of my body, and I was on the streets outside. It popped so far out. And I remember I kept trying to walk. I kept trying to move my arms, but I couldn't. I ended up teleporting to the places I wanted to be. And I thought that it just really blew my mind, that I was teleporting from place to place. And now I know it was through God's power, but at the time I didn't know what was going on. And I remember I made it back into the house. And when I got into the house, that's when I realized everything was golden. Everything, the walls, the ceiling, the floors, everything was golden and glowing. It had light inside of it. And then I teleported closer towards my room. I remember passing our dining room table, and the table was so beautiful. It was transparent, and it was just the most beautiful table that I've ever seen. I couldn't stop looking at it. It looked like so advanced. It shined too. You could see the geometrical shapes of everything. You could see through it. And then I made it back towards my room. Before I made it towards my room, I saw a big light kind of blocking the door. So I went through the wall. I teleported past the wall back into the room. And I remember looking at the corners of the room, like up here, and like usually there's a little shadow or something. Like there's a casted shadow usually, and whenever I was looking at the corners of the room, I couldn't see any shadows. Like there was no shadows in this place. And I was like, how is that possible that there's no shadows? Like I didn't understand what I was seeing. It was hard for me to comprehend, and it was beyond my understanding. And then I looked towards the light, and this was Jesus. This was around the time I started realizing what was happening, and that this was Jesus. And I looked at him. I couldn't see his face. I couldn't see his clothes. All I could see was light, like the shape of a body, but pure light. I hope y'all are following. Like the shape of a human body, but it was made of pure light. And I looked inside of this light. Like I looked deep, like I looked inside of the light, and I saw faces inside of him, and shifting faces. And my grandma, who passed away a while back, I saw her face, and he brought her into view in this vision. And she was a giant. She was so tall, so beautiful, and so young. And I couldn't I couldn't believe how beautiful she was. And I knew she was safe at this point. Like I knew there's a heaven. And I wanted to stay there, so I started walking towards her. And then Jesus pulled me back, and without touching me, without any without touching me at all, he somehow took control of my body, and I was kneeling and bowing to him without my willfully doing it. And I was like, whoa, like, how is this possible for someone else to control my body like that? Like, that baffled me. And I remember I tried to even just move my head just a little bit. I couldn't. It was like frozen like a statue. And then I was wondering, is he judging me? Is he opening the books? Is he, like, what's going on? And sorry, my phone it looks like it's getting a little blurry every now and then, but it's okay. Anyway, I was wondering if he was judging me, what was going on. And then after a few moments, he picked me up, lifted me off of the ground, and hugged me. He lifted me off the ground and hugged me. And when he hugged me, I felt like love, peace, joy, happiness. I felt so much strong, powerful emotions that I didn't know were possible in this world. At the same time, I felt a hot lava slowly go from my toes to my head, or my head to my toes. It was slow moving hot lava going through, and it felt so nice. It doesn't sound nice when you say hot lava going through you, but like, I guess in the spirit world, it felt, in the heavenly realm, it felt really nice. I wanted that for some reason. And after a few moments, I tried to speak. I tried to say, I tried saying, don't let go, please keep hugging me, but no words would come out of my mouth. I kept trying to talk, but no words would come out. And then after a few moments, he finally spoke, and I didn't hear it with my ears. I heard it inside of my mind. And he said, just a little while longer. And I remember I was like, what do you mean just a little while longer? What does that mean? Just don't stop hugging me. Just whatever was on my mind in the moment. I just didn't want him to stop hugging me because it felt so good. But sorry, my mind goes blank sometimes. Trying to keep this message as short as possible, and with as much detail. And then shortly after that, he finally let go of me, and I felt a rubber band snap over my heart. And I woke up in my bed gasping for air, like like gasping for air, and covered in sweat. And I knew what happened wasn't a dream. It was a vision. It was real. My body was actually reacting to it as it was happening. Like, it's so hard to explain, but like, it changed how I see the world. It changed how I live. It changed a lot of things. But I have gone through some spiritual warfare after that, and maybe I'll get into that in some later post. But I mostly wanted to share that Jesus is real, and he's working, he's visiting, he's even if we don't feel it, he's still there. I just hope this encourages someone, and sorry it was such a long video, but if y'all have any questions, feel free to DM me. And God bless, and have a good day.